It sure is. I mean, it puts you in the strongest position to never worry about gaming a search engine again. You just are the trusted source.
You're listening to the Endless Customers podcast, brought to you by the team at Impact. Endless Customers is the proven system to become the most known and trusted brand in your market. If you want to learn the principles of Endless Customers and how you can implement them in your business, pick up a copy of Endless Customers, a national bestseller, wherever books are sold. Ready to start implementing Endless Customers in your business? Talk to Impact about how our coaching program can help you implement Endless Customers to success. And if you want to experience Endless Customers in person, don't miss our upcoming event, Endless Customers Live, in Hartford, Connecticut, October 5th through the 7th, 2026. Registration is now open. And now, on to the show. Here's your host, Bob Ruffalo.
Well, that voice you just heard was Stephanie Baiocchi, and she has been with Impact for almost 10 years now, and we've done 150 episodes plus, 150 plus episodes of the Endless Customers podcast, and holy bananas, you've never been on the podcast, Stephanie. What the heck?
Holy bananas.
Holy bananas.
No, I've been too busy planning Endless Customers Live.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, Stephanie is our chief events officer.
Stealing that title.
I like that title. But every one of our conferences, the Endless Customers Live conference, which is put on twice a year, which most businesses will not do a conference because it is a ton of work and does require a lot of people. We do two here, and Stephanie runs both of them because she is an absolute machine. So Stephanie, how have you never been on the show before?
I know, it's crazy. I think just been so focused on the events, and that's not something that we necessarily coach and train on. So I'm over here on the behind the scenes side.
So we've made some massive shifts here with our content here at Impact.
Yeah.
And as you probably have noticed, we're going to be ramping up how many of these episodes we're doing a week. I'm here. We're going to be doing different types of episodes and addressing different content. And we were talking about what we want to address. And, obviously Google just had their I/O summit on the 19th, and they announced a lot of things. We thought we would cover what is going on in the world of Google, AI, search, because a lot is changing. Stephanie, I know you are obsessing over it, and that's why you're on here. What is going on in search right now?
Yeah. So I'm always keeping my pulse on search, just as any good marketer would. And this core update in particular caught my attention because even though it's, I think, the third or fourth one this year already, it was tied specifically timing wise with IO. And so while their update about the core update specifically was very vague, Google was like, it's a standard update and it's going to better surface relevant content and all those things they say. The timing is just cannot be ignored with IO. And so a lot of what they announced with IO is how we're moving forward with conversational search. More and more search is happening with what Google is calling AI mode. They launched Gemini Flash 3.5. And so they're creating this smoother, more immersive search experience where when you ask a question, even if it's the kind of AI mode question you ask in Google right now on search on your desktop or your phone, it used to kind of give you that AI summary and then you took that and you did something with it or not. And now you can follow up on that query with a deeper question, and Google can take in context from additional things, additional searches, soon even context from your own information like your Gmail, your Google Photos, if you allow it to. We know this is the direction everything's going.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously Google said this is the largest shift to the search box and just search in general in over 25 years. I mean, search is dramatically changing and they know it. All of our behavior has rapidly changed ever since ChatGPT came out. It's like, oh, we can just ask a question, get an answer. Google gave us IO overviews. And so we know we're not
command clicking a bunch of blue links anymore and opening a bunch of tabs.
Yeah. So, if you were going to pull on this thread a little bit more, and obviously you are one of the biggest digital marketing geeks I know, and that's why I love you so much. Tell us more about where search is going, and as brands and companies, where do we need to be paying attention?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to take away is that sometimes when we talk about Google algorithm updates, it's like, oh, how do we win with Google? How do we beat the algorithm? And the algorithm wants to make people happy. It
Yes.
wants to provide searchers with good information. So don't worry so much about if you're providing the algorithm with what it's looking for. It's, are you providing people with what they're looking for?
Yeah.
And eventually agents. And
Yeah.
Google did talk a little bit about agents at I/O as well. So we know that part. And then we know with trust signals what AI tools in search are looking for.
Yeah.
So with this, what people need to focus on with search is, are you giving these tools the right kind of deep educational information? If you're just creating content for content's sake, or you're putting up tons of pages, but they're thin and not really educational, it's not going to cut it anymore. And I think the majority of what this update is going to show us is that expertise, information, and authority are reign supreme. And we
Yeah.
know that. And
Yeah.
now it's going to show.
You know, Stephanie, we've been working together for a long time, and Impact has always been a content powerhouse, and certainly in you know, you go back even just a handful of years ago, before AI, we were approaching 1 million website visitors to our site a month. Obviously, most businesses have seen their traffic significantly drop, but I will tell you, leading a lot of those content efforts throughout those years, I never paid attention to algorithm changes ever.
Yeah.
Any of those
Yeah.
years. I because what I actually paid attention to was the Google guidelines.
Yes.
That's what mattered more than anything,
Yeah.
because and those guidelines, the algorithms have changed how many times? Every month, every year.
Yeah,
there's
the
massive
guidelines are
updates.
still a published article from 2019.
The guidelines haven't changed at all. And
Yeah.
I think if you just pay attention to what Google advises companies to be creating content on, answer the questions people are asking, help Google understand what's going on in the world so it can present accurate and great answers, and then have validation and proof and back up the answers that you give, and show that you are credible and you're adding to those conversations, then the algorithm changes don't matter, because all the changes they're doing are trying to get closer to the guidelines.
Yeah. And that's true. And I think a lot of times the algorithm change is to stop rewarding people who try to game the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not trying to game the system, you're actually proving your credibility, you're doing your original research, you shouldn't have an issue with most of the algorithm changes.
No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, it's so funny. I was at a Vistage event, and there was a marketing speaker, and I was so curious. I was like, what are other people that speak at these events talking about marketing? What are they talking about? And there was a lot of good stuff she shared. But one of the things she did specifically say was that, you know, and she was making the case why you have to have an agency and specialists and all that. And there's some truth to that. But one of the specialists she said was you have to have an SEO specialist, because the algorithm changes all the time, and somebody needs to full-time only focus on that. And I'm sitting there and being like, that's complete BS. Like, no, that is bad advice, because it's that you don't need a SEO specialist. You need somebody that just knows the guidelines. Now, there are technical things to it. Schema.
Yes, of course. There's schema, and
yeah.
We just say schema when we say technical things now.
It's always schema.
Semantic. Yeah. I totally agree. I can't believe people are still so behind in that they're thinking that way. I think you do need someone who either has the capacity to understand the technical side of things and implement it with AI's help, or at least have someone who understands how to create the right content and then leverage a resource for marking it up appropriately. But I can't imagine having a full-time SEO at this point. And the other thing that cracks me up when I hear people at these marketing events and what they're talking about is people will always complain, or at least for a while they have, when they see AI generated answers or summaries, and they say, well, that's not the right information, or how did it present that? That's not the right information about my industry or my company. Well, where do you think it got its information? Your stupid website that doesn't have the information on it. Like, where is it going to get? It's not going to have a sales call with your rep who bogarts everything and then put that in the AI summary. So I just love still seeing people mad the AI search results are wrong, quote unquote, and not providing it with the right information to fix it.
So, you know, a lot of companies are both fearful right now, and some of them have seen a drop. Now, to your point before, they did advise you have to give it a little bit of time. That could be very scary for people, but we've also seen algorithm updates happen and people just fall down, they don't recover. and it's scary for a lot of people. What are the most likely reasons, if you had a guess, that somebody had a lot of traffic and an algorithm change happened, and now all of a sudden they have less traffic coming? What do you think would
Yeah.
probably the
There's
most
kind of
corporate or
two
most?
possibilities
Yeah,
there. One is the update has been very volatile. You could have been the number one reference source for weeks, and then all of a sudden you're not.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden you are again, and then you're not. And so you definitely have to let these updates settle. They were saying June 9th would be the date where you could potentially see a good, like, things have evened out and we can compare this to pre-update back in May. And that it take that date with a grain of salt, but just look at your data and see, are things starting to settle out, because it could just be a very volatile shift from the update and things will resettle back in your favor.
yeah,
If not, if there's a significant drop in traffic, I mean, without, knowing a true answer myself, my gut would say that you have to beef up your content and the proof of your
yeah.
content. And really, whether it's missing schema or original research or unique value,
Yes.
because if you're putting out content that you think maybe you spend a lot of time on and you worked really hard on it, and that's great. But if you asked AI to help you write it and then you edited it and then you published it, it's more of what AI already had.
Yeah.
So it's not giving any new information. It's not creating any unique value. You need to be creating things that your SMEs are creating essentially from scratch. And that's not to say you can't use AI to write your
Yeah.
content. You absolutely can within your workflow. But I would say people who are severely hit by this update need to beef up their content.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I would advise people is to look at
Yeah.
EEAT,
AT.
expertise, experience, authority, and transparency. Is that what it is? I always get
Yeah.
the four.
And Austin here at Impact has been working a lot on that right now. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if we roll out another episode or webinar or something with him on it. And the T is trustworthy, not transparent.
Trustworthy. Sorry. Trustworthy. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, which is kind of just a little thesaurus group there, but okay.
But the idea of that is, if you're thinking like Google right now or these AI platforms, they're saying, how do we know that we should be recommending this content? How do we help validate the trustworthiness of it?
Yes.
It's having an author that produced it, that it has credibility. So that means that you have a bio, you have a page of them with their awards, and other pieces of content they created, people talking about them, and you talking, and bi-directionally, you have links going off your site and links back to your site from the bio. So it says, this person, people care about them. When they speak, people should listen, right? You're building that profile of yourself. And then the content that's being produced is not what everyone else is saying on the internet. That's like the biggest culprit is, to your point, people write articles from ChatGPT and they publish on their site, and it's just what ChatGPT says. It's like, if they already know it,
it already had that.
That's not going to value what you're adding to the conversation. You're just adding what they said, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to bring unique perspectives and insights and thoughts and experiences and stories and client situation, whatever it is. Original research is, every time, that's like the hottest thing right now. It wants more original data because it needs it. It needs real answers. So that's probably where most of the issues are coming from. And if you do have a lot of that could be technical. It could just be a schema issue. I know we keep saying schema. Yeah. If you don't know what schema is, look it up. But it's just basically the code that you put in your website and tells these search engines and these AI platforms how to understand the data. That's all it is.
Yeah. And if you can nail telling it how to understand the content, the data, the content types, then beyond that, actual content wise, this is like I don't want to be too self-serving, but an algorithmic endorsement of the 4 pillars.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what I'm looking at, because if you just look at, say what others aren't willing to say, show what others aren't willing to show, sell in the way others aren't willing to sell, that's most of the content. But then you have this be more human layer. Yeah. And that's where EEAT comes in. We have authors who are people who have real profiles, who have LinkedIn's, and that's such an important piece of this.
Yeah. And the other thing I've been saying a lot of too is focus on building a good business first.
Yeah.
That that does well by the customers. It's a good product. There's something unique about it. People care about. There's a reason for people to choose you over the competition. There's a reason for them to switch from the competition to you, and you get good reviews and great feedback, and people keep buying from you. People want to work there. People enjoy working there. Focus on that first, because if you start with the marketing, you have nothing to market.
Yeah, what are you marketing?
Right? And you know, when you have a really solid business foundation, then the marketing really just takes care of itself in many ways. You have stories, you have perspectives, if you have
People want to
reviews,
talk about it.
People want to talk about it.
Yeah. And you said something interesting there, which is for people to choose you. And I think that's the distinction between what we focus on with search and what we focus on within our internal sales process, marketing, business is, you know, search is in the business of answering questions.
Yes.
They're trying to get people answers to their questions. We as businesses need to help people decide.
Yes.
And we take it that step further of, okay, you got some answers. Now, what are you going to do with those answers? What are you going to decide to do?
Great point. Great point. Good. And you know, the other thing I've just been saying a lot too, Steph, I think you'll appreciate this, is that, you know, it used to be previous algorithm additions. That's what we're going to call them. Previous algorithms. It was so hyper focused on your website and what you put on your site, what you said about yourself. And it was all about getting your pages to rank above other people's pages around certain keywords. And you'd add more words or add more SEO and you'd rank. But, you know, with the complexity of these AI models and the ability to understand so much more information, and of course, all these systems want to keep your content on their platforms, not on your site. It's your overall brand that matters so much more than anything else. If you ever want to get recommended, you want to show up in these results, it's the awards that you've won. It's what the reviews you have. It's other people, big brands talking about you on their websites and being on their best of lists. These are all the things that anything you think of that's like, hey, I wish I was there. I wish I had more of that. I wish, you know, and people, you know, as a buyer, you're looking at those things and you're valuing those things. That's the stuff that matters most. Again, great business, build up the credibility around it, and then everything else just falls into place.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think one other thing that is interesting in this situation is if you are doing a good job of that, you're a trusted, trustworthy brand in the eyes of search, and not just Google, you know, ChatGPT, Perplexity, everything. And then you're giving it the ability to surface a really clear answer for someone. The journey for them might look like getting their answer and then having to move about their day and coming back later. And that would look like in the reporting a decline to your traffic. However, if you're being cited and you're doing a good job answering buyers' questions and you're a trustworthy company, that dip in traffic is not necessarily a bad thing or something you need to win back. Yeah. You need to figure out then how to be a memorable brand, give them the best possible answer that captures their interest there. Yeah. And so it's a different strategy entirely.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Don't have the same mindset you had 3 years ago of we have to get as much traffic, because all that top of the funnel traffic, it's gone and it's not coming back. And if your strategy is to try to get it back, forget about it. It's not happening. Yeah. People are not searching and then going to websites to go read the answer anymore. They're searching and then they get the answer right away and they don't have to go to websites at all. And they're not going to. There's nothing you can do to get them back. So don't even try. And I worry about, you know, companies like all those publisher companies. I mean, they're a lot in trouble, like the BuzzFeeds of the world.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're going to see now is, I think we already see it, is less patience from people reading information to do things like click through to get the answer. I mean, we see even on social media, you'll see a BuzzFeed post with a really clickbaity headline, and the first comment is the person just answering what the question was. Yeah. Someone dives in, reads it, and puts the answer for everyone. Yeah. And there's just a really low threshold for that kind of, I don't even want to say gamifying because that's positive, but that kind of trying to work the system. Yeah.
So Stephanie, what did we miss today?
What did we miss?
What did we miss? Is there anything we should have addressed on the, I mean, we beat this topic up pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just content richness is still a big factor here. And when we say content, and when you and I are talking about content, I just want to reiterate that we're not just talking about written content. Yeah. I mean, there's videos surfacing in these results. There's articles, there's tools. I mean, Google is truly noting things like pricing calculators within these results now. It goes far beyond just your written content.
Yeah. No, really, really good point. And you just look up the stats. I don't have them off the top of my head. I have some of them, but not all of them. But just how powerful YouTube really is, and we underestimate that. That is a place people still go to get answers and consume content, especially when they're doing research.
And Google tools can watch videos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not, I mean, yes, you should have a transcript, and yes, you should have all that information, but it also has the ability to watch videos.
And YouTube videos show up in search results significantly more, but even more importantly, I think 200 times more than any other type of video is showing up in AI results. But AI platforms, it used to be Reddit. I think they still love Reddit, but they skew more towards YouTube today. And then the other thing about YouTube is it's more credible because they can see you, and it's more believable. It's not just content that was written by ChatGPT. It's really you in front of your people. It could be an avatar, but in most cases, it's going to be you. So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing with that be more human element of it, is when you're putting the face of your brand or you're putting faces of your SMEs on video, you're also building a relationship with people, and someone's going to have a harder time, let's say, ghosting a meeting they book with someone they've watched 10 YouTube videos of, because they feel a connection to them. They have a parasocial relationship with them.
Yeah. Awesome, Steph. All right. So before we go, there's another Endless Customers Live coming up, and it's going to be in Hartford. Can you tell us all about it and get us all excited why we should all be there?
Yes. So Endless Customers Live, the next one is October 5th through the 7th in Hartford, Connecticut, back at the Marriott if you were with us before. And we are bringing back all of the Endless Customers content that you need to stay engaged on your journey, get your team along with you. But we're also adding a lot more interactive workshops. We did a few at the last event, and we saw how much people loved them.
Oh, yeah.
And having the chance to really sit down for a good amount of time in a roundtable with a group of people and be guided by the coaches at Impact through activities about your business, and actually work on a worksheet and do some things and walk away with something tangible. So we're doing more of that, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah. And you know what I'm really excited about, Steph, is that finally one of these Endless Customers Lives, we're going to take a break from AI and we're not going to talk about it at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. But I think you'll see that AI is just so infused into everything at this point.
Yeah.
You know, first it was a session, then it was a day, and now it's everywhere. It's part of everything. But we'll still be focused. You'll hear us say AI, I'm sure, many times. And the other thing is we have some new faces at Impact who've been working with our clients and doing really cool things with the businesses who are going to have things to share. And then we'll have a whole new round of award winners winning the Endless Customers Awards who have really cool examples and things they've been doing, tools they've been building that you can get inspired from. And we'll have casino night again. We're bringing back good old casino night.
Yeah. If nothing else, come for casino night. You learn a little bit about Endless Customers marketing, growing your business. Yeah. But casino night is a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. So awesome stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I had a blast.
We should make this a recurring thing. I think we should have you on the podcast, maybe a couple times a month. What do you think?
A couple times a month.
Why not? This is fun.
I'm here whenever you need. I mean, for anyone listening, we were trying to decide who should be on this episode, and I finally just said, can I do it, please?
Oh, I know. Well, stuff, little throwback, little Impact history. We had the Impact show back in the day.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
I know. Did the Impact show. But although I don't know if you and I ever did an episode together.
We did.
Okay.
There were a few when I first started working at Impact almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was in the office and we did a couple episodes in person.
Oh, that's right. Because it was me and Nick. No, it started as me and Kyle Bento.
Yeah.
And then, hi, Kyle. And then it was me and Nick Sal. Hi, Nick.
Yep. Then it was you and me. Then it was me and Nick.
That was you and Nick. Yeah. Yep. So, wow. Yeah, man, that was fun. It was good times. I guess we kind of brought it back. Now I'm doing this again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get bored of it.
I mean, that's the only way we can really stay up to date on things that are changing so rapidly. And I think exactly what we said earlier. Don't worry so much about the Google core update. Oh, yeah. Yes, those change. But are you doing what it takes to show up for people and for AI? And there's just so many things to talk about with that.
And the Endless Customer system is the solution for that.
It sure is. I mean, it puts you in the strongest position to never worry about gaming a search engine again. You just are the trusted source.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think next time there's another big news thing that we want to address, you're probably going to be the person. You'll be like our sideline reporter. How's that sound?
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This is another episode of the Endless Customers Podcast with Stephanie Baiocchi making her Endless Customers Podcast debut. Again, can't believe it's been so long. But until our next episode, take care.
If you liked this episode, please take a minute to leave us a review. Thanks for checking out the Endless Customers Podcast.